Help Kazom Radio build towards the future. We are currently looking to expand our network and need all the help and support we can get. Please visit kzomradio.com/fundraising for details. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Kazom Radio's Know Your Legends Unsolved Murders series. My name is Matt Jarbo, and I'm going to be your host through this adventure of craziness and murder, and this is a recent one too. So, this is not like going back to the 1800s or the 1930s. This is like 2011. But I just want to quickly say before I jump into it that this is going to be the last episode of the Unsolved Murders for a while. Anyway, without further ado. You guys can find us at kzomradio.com, twitter.com/kzomradio, facebook.com/kzomradio. We are all over the net. You need to come find us. And to all of the new subscribers on Twitter and Facebook, thank you very much. And also on iTunes and Stitcher, thank you very much. Okay, so without further ado, enough of an intro. Here we go. The Long Island serial killer, also referred to by the media as the Gilgo Killer, is an unidentified suspected serial killer who is believed to have murdered 10 people associated with the sex trade over the last 15 years or so and dumped their bodies along the Ocean Parkway near the remote beach towns of Gilgo Beach and Oak Beach in Suffolk County and the area of Jones Beach State Park in Nassau County. The remains of 4 victims were found in December 2010, while 6 more sets of remains were found in March and April 2011. Police believe that the latest sets of remains predate the 4 bodies found in December 2010. On May 9, 2011, authorities surmised that 2 of the newest sets of remains might be the work of a second killer. On November 29, 2011, however, the police announced that they believe that 1 person is responsible for all 10 deaths and that they do not believe that the case of Shannon Gilbert is related. According to Suffolk County District Attorney Thomas Spoda, it is clear that the area in and around Gilgo Beach has been used to discard human remains for some period of time. Police investigation. The police were initially searching for Shannon Gilbert, a 24-year-old prostitute from New Jersey who was reported missing in May 2010. She was last seen in the area after meeting a client in nearby Oak Beach. In December 2010, a police officer and his dog on a routine training exercise discovered the first body, the skeletal remains of a woman in a nearly disintegrated burlap sack. This discovery led to 3 more bodies being found 2 days later in the same area on the north side of the Ocean Parkway. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Richard Dormer said, 4 bodies found in the same location pretty much speaks for itself. It's more than a coincidence. We could have a serial killer. A few months later, in March and early April 2011, 4 more bodies were discovered in another area off the parkway. Suffolk police expanded the search area up to the Nassau County border looking for more victims. On April 6, 2011, Detective Lieutenant Kevin Smith of the Nassau County Police Department said that his office will further explore and investigate any criminal activity which may be close in proximity to the recently discovered human remains found in Suffolk. Smith also said that Nassau Police will be coordinating with Suffolk County and the New York State Police on the investigation. On April 11, 2011, the search for more bodies began in Nassau County. Local media reported that an additional set of partial remains were found, as well as a separate skull, bringing the potential total number of victims found since December to 10. On April 22, 2011, 2 human teeth were found about a foot from the skull. On June 16, 2011, Suffolk County Police raised the reward from $5,000 to $25,000, the largest ever offered in the county's history, for information leading to the arrest in the Long Island murders. On September 20th, 2011, police released composite sketches of 2 of the unidentified victims whose remains were found in March and April, the Asian male and Jane Doe number 6, as well as photos of jewelry found on the remains of the female toddler and her mother found on April 4th and 11th, 2011, respectively. The toddler's mother was also revealed as one of the sets of remains found in Nassau County on April 11th. Also on September 20th, police revealed that the second set of remains found in Nassau County on April 11th matched 2 legs that were found in a garbage bag washed up on Fire Island in 1996. As of September 22, 2011, the police had received over 1,200 tips via text, email, and phone since the beginning of the investigation. On November 29, 2011, police announced that they believe one person is responsible for all 10 murders, and that person is almost certainly from Long Island. On December 13, 2011, the remains of a woman believed to be that of Shannon Gilbert were found in a marsh about a half mile from where she disappeared. And a week after some of her clothes and belongings were found in the vicinity, police believe that Shannon drowned, a view not shared by her mother. Identity of the killer. There has been much speculation in the media concerning the identity of the killer. Currently known as UNSUB, or unknown subject, some profilers speculate that the killer could have ties to law enforcement due to his sophisticated knowledge of police procedures. Others believe that the murderer is an organized killer with a detailed knowledge of law enforcement techniques which have thus far helped him avoid detection, and that he is a white male and very familiar with the South Shore of Long Island. Some have speculated that the serial killer and former Long Island resident Joel Rifkin may have been responsible for some of the older remains found in March and April of 2011, as 4 of his victims' bodies were never found. In an April 2011 prison interview with Newsday, Rifkin denied having anything to do with the recently discovered remains. Experts and victims' rights advocates, however, believe that Rifkin's recent statements have no value. Bodies discovered in December 2010. Of the 10 bodies or sets of remains found since late 2010, the 4 discovered in December 2010 have been identified as missing prostitutes who all advertised their services on Craigslist. They had all been strangled and their bodies wrapped in burlap sacks. All are believed to have been killed elsewhere. Identified. Maureen Bernard Barnes, 25, of Norwich, Connecticut, was a prostitute who advertised her services online. She was last seen on July 9, 2007, when she left Norwich for New York City. Her body was found in December 2010. Melissa Bartholomew, 24, of Erie County, New York, went missing on July 10, 2009. She had been living in the Bronx and working as an escort through Craigslist. On the night she went missing, she met with a client, deposited $900 in her bank account, and attempted to call an old boyfriend, but did not get through. Beginning 1 week after her disappearance and lasting for 5 weeks, her teenage sister Amanda received a series of vulgar, mocking, and insulting calls from someone who may have been the killer using her sister's cell phone. Megan Waterman, 22, of South Portland, Maine, went missing June 6, 2010, after placing advertisements on Craigslist as an escort. The day before, she had told her 20-year-old boyfriend that she was going out and would call him later. At the time of her disappearance, she was staying at a motel in Hauppauge, New York, 15 miles northeast of Go-Go Beach. Her body was also recovered in December 2010. Amber Lynn Costello, 27, of North Babylon, New York, a town 10 miles north of Go-Go Beach. She was a prostitute and a heroin user and went missing on September 2, 2010. On the night she disappeared, she went to meet a stranger who had called her several times and offered her $1,500 for her services. Remains discovered in March and April 2011. The 4 sets of remains discovered on March 29th and April 4th were all within 2 miles and to the east of those found in December. They included 2 women, a man, and a toddler. A skull and a partial sets of remains were found on April 11th after the search expanded into Nassau County. They were found 1 mile apart, approximately 5 miles west of those found in December. Identified. On May 9th, 2011, it was reported that the remains of a skull, a pair of hands, and a forearm found on March 29th belonged to a prostitute named Jessica Taylor, 20, whose dismembered body was found in 2003, 45 miles away in Maynardville, New York. She had worked in Washington, D.C. and Manhattan. Unidentified. A head, right foot, and hands were found on April 4th, belonged to an unidentified victim known as Jane Doe number 6, the rest of whose body was found on November 9th, 2000, in the same part of Maynardville where Jessica Taylor's remains were discovered. The dismembered remains of Jessica Taylor and Jane Doe number 6 were both disposed of in a similar manner and in the same town, suggesting a link. Their deaths are dissimilar to those 4 found in December 2010. In September 2011, police released a composite sketch of Jane Doe number 6. She was about 5'2" and was between 18 and 35 years old. It is likely that she worked as a prostitute. In May 2011, the media reported that 2 remaining sets of remains were found in Suffolk County, and that they appeared to be those of a young Asian male who died a violent death and a female toddler between the ages of 18 and 24 months old, wrapped in a blanket and showing no visible signs of trauma. At the time, it was believed that their deaths did not appear to be linked to any of the others. On September 20th, 2011, police revealed new details about these remains. Police released a composite sketch of the Asian male who died from blunt force trauma. He had likely worked as a prostitute and was wearing women's clothes at the time of his death. He was between 17 and 23 years of age, 5'6" in height, and missing 4 teeth. He had been dead for 5 to 10 years. The female toddler was between 16 and 23 months of age and wearing earrings and a necklace. She was reported to be non-Caucasian. Her mother was identified as one of the sets of remains found in Nassau County on April 11th. On September 20th, 2011, police also revealed new information on the 2 sets of remains discovered in Nassau County on April 11th. One set was identified as the mother of the female toddler found in Suffolk County on April 4th, and the other set matched a pair of legs found in a garbage bag on Fire Island in 1996. Police also released photos of inexpensive jewelry found in the remains of both the mother and the daughter. On May 22, 2011, a headless, decomposed body of undetermined gender was discovered washed up on the beach about 100 miles east of where the 10 sets of remains were found near Gilgo Beach. The next day, an autopsy revealed that the remains were those of a young male, ages 20 to 30, of a slight build. Divers were not able to find the skull. The remains did not display any obvious signs of trauma and appeared to have been in the water for months. Authorities in Atlantic City, New Jersey, have been investigating to see if these bodies were linked to 4 similar unsolved murders there, where the bodies of 4 murdered prostitutes were found hidden behind a motel in November 2006. However, any connection between the Long Island murders and the Atlantic City murders has now been ruled out. On May 17, 2011, the New York Post reported that the Long Island police are now revisiting at least 2 other similar unsolved murders of prostitutes. The only victim named in the article was Tanya Rush, 39, a mother of 3 from Brooklyn, whose dismembered body was found in a small suitcase in 2008 on the shoulder of the Southern State Parkway in Belmore, New York. Wow. That's crazy. Like, that's pretty nuts. Like, how long has this dude been killing? I mean, they found the remains in from December 2010 to May 2011. It's 6 months, but that's crazy. So, okay, this is a recent case. We've seen this on the news. I saw this on the news. I want to know, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this dude is going on Craigslist and picking up hookers, right? How can you go on Craigslist and pick up hookers anymore? They got rid of the feature. Talent gigs. Anyway, or dating gigs, either or. Just saying, you can go find that on Craigslist. But anyway, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Find me on Twitter at KZonRadio. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Or go to Facebook. I'm on there all the time too. Facebook.com/KZonRadio. You can post on our Discuss page at KZonRadio.com. And stay tuned next week when we get into our infrequent affairs section of the show, and that will go on for quite some time. And that's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are going to love that. So I will see you guys then. My name is Matt Jarbo. Thank you so much for listening. Have yourself a great week. See you next week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of KZon Radio's Know Your Legends Unsolved Murders. If you'd like to advertise on this podcast, please visit KZonRadio.com for details.